Oh, hi guys, welcome back again to another section of Uncle Sam online tutorial. In today's class, we'll be talking about complex numbers. But before we get started, I'd like you to take a moment and do something for me. Click the like button, like this video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's get back to it. So, we'll be talking about complex numbers. So, what is the idea behind complex numbers? Well, you must know that in maths we have what we call a number system. A number system comprises of a different set of numbers. We have the whole numbers, we have the integers, we have the rational numbers, and we also have the irrational numbers. But all of them come from a particular root, which is the real numbers. Okay? So, but it turns out that mathematicians looked at the real number and found out that there are some aspects that cannot be represented with respect to real numbers. So he had to develop something. Well, you need to know that all these are just in the mind. Once you get something that is widely accepted, it becomes a norm. So they thought about introducing things or other symbols to represent a different kind of breed of numbers, which we call the imaginary number. So under complex number, we have, let me start with this. A complex number is a combination of a real number and an imaginary number. For instance, we have something like this: a plus, say, jb. Now, for this left hand side, this is the real number, and for here, this is actually what? The imaginary, the j. The j is the imaginary number. So being attached to b means that this part are imaginary part. So that's what real numbers comprise of. So what is the goal? What are we trying to achieve with all this? Well, there are some solutions to some questions that when you're done solving, you can't find a better way to express the numbers. For instance, something like, what is the square root of -1? Can you guess? Well, there's no particular value with respect to real numbers that can tell us what the square root of -1 is. So, but we can actually find it using the complex or the imaginary number. This is what I mean. So let's move forward. So I have the square root of -1. Well, I can disassemble this into the square root of -1 times what? 1. Hope you follow. Then I can go ahead and separate them, like putting the square root, giving each number the same different square root. So I'm going to have same thing as square root of -1 times square root of what? 1. And I want to represent my square root of -1 as j. Okay, and also square root of 1 is already 1 because 1 times 1 is what? 1. So going forward, we'll have something like square root of -1 will turn to j, then times what? Square root of 1 is what? 1. So j times 1 is what? J. So we can now represent square root of -1 as what? J, because of the introduction of what? Imaginary what? Numbers. Now this works well when you are solving for, let's say, quadratic equations that are not factorizable. Like an instance is x squared plus 1 is equals to 0. Okay, so what do you think we're going to do here? Because obviously this is not factorizable, and if you try to solve it using the quadratic formula, you will get stuck at some point. So the best way to solve this is, let's say we want to simplify. You can go forward and say, because I'm trying to find x, two values for x. So x squared will now be equals to, we'll subtract 1 from both sides. We're going to have x squared is equals to what? -1 at the end of the day. And we want to find what is x, two values for x. So what do? We have to square root what? Both side. And once you put square root, you're going to have a negative and what? Plus value, positive and negative value of whatever is on the right hand side. That's the essence of the square root, because you're getting two values for what? X. So square root can cancel square. So you have that your x is equals to what? Plus or minus square root of what? -1. Now we can do the same thing. Remember, we have established that square root of -1 is an image. You can represent it with an imaginary symbol, which is what? J. So this means that x is now equal to what? Plus j, which is similar as j is similar to square root of -1, or that x is equal to what? Minus what? G. Now this brings a whole new vibe in our calculation because we won't have to get stuck when we're solving problems that relate to quadratic equations that are not factorizable. We can extend, we can use our knowledge of complex numbers to further solve, So this is it about complex numbers. This is more like an introduction. Okay, there are different aspects. We have the addition, subtraction, multiplications. We can do a whole lot of stuff with complex numbers, but this is just a way to just get us started. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that and click on the notification button so you know whenever I post any video. Alright guys, see you.